Hi, I'm Heather from booktubes. Today is my top 5 books of November. In November, I had 15 5-star reads. 3 of those were rereads, so I don't usually count them. A couple were Cate Daniels books, which I'm trying not to have in every single month. And so these are my top 5. My top book of the month is easily The Tyrant Alpha's Rejected Mate by Cate Wells. I loved this book with every fiber of my being. It was everything that I hoped that it would be. I don't like rejected mate shifter books. I really like when they lean into the mating bond, when it gives us an extra connection rather than the reason to try and block their romance from happening. And so I'm not a fan of rejected mate, but this was done so well. First of all, the rejection scene is pretty brutal, but at the same time, he is not purposely being cruel. He's not trying to hurt her. He doesn't think she's his mate because he's sure he would feel it. And then he is also trying to protect her. He doesn't want the pack to turn on her or for her to be injured or killed. And so he rejects her. And he makes a lot of mistakes along the way. And she is disabled and has never turned into a wolf before. She's been a latent shifter, and she's one of the single females that they just don't have a lot of rights in the pack. While he is infinitely better than his father was, the pack is still behind the times, and he's still fighting some of the older factions that liked it better when his father was in charge, and females just bent over and took it. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. He is much better, but also the rights of the single female shifters are not super high on his priority list. And also, he definitely falls on the side of it's for your own good, it's protection. You know, be happy just living here doing nothing. She has orchestrated for like the last 10 years. The single females have been selling goods in the human market right under their noses without them knowing, and she's kind of the protector of all of the single female wolves, and she hangs out with the witch wolf. She's delightful. So the witch actually ends up, she's in horrible agony because he rejected her, and so the witch ends up taking her side of the bond away, so she's perfectly fine, and his wolf won't let him leave her alone and is driving him up the wall because he's sure if she was his mate, he would know. So that can't be the answer. And it's just so good. Like I said, I found it a lot easier to forgive him because he was never intentionally cruel, and she didn't just accept any scraps he was willing to give her. That was a great balance. You do get both POVs. Really loved that. And yeah, it was so good. A great shifter romance. Next, I have The Demon Next Door by Chace Verity. This I like even better than Deal with the Demon, and this is in the same world as that book. This is on the short side, probably like 100 pages. You don't have sex until the final chapter, but then it is very steamy. And you have a single mom, and next door a single demon dad moves in, and she and her son are some of the few humans who can actually see them in their true forms, and their sons really form a bond, and her son has not been doing well since his dad left them for his secretary. He's completely cut off all contact with his son, which obviously makes his mom furious, but he really is coming out of his shell with his new friend, and because of that they have a lot of interactions, and the demon has very formal language and is so caring and sweet, and he like will shovel her driveway and try and help her in any way that he can, and it's just so sweet. And like I said, the steam when it happens, really hot. I loved it. I was smiling, I was laughing, my heart grew 3 sizes. It was so adorable. Read it. If you have the slightest interest in a demon single dad, read it. It's so good. Then I have The Stone Sky, which is Broken Earth Trilogy #3 by N.K. Jemisin. This is the 3rd and final book. Loved reading this on Beautifully Bookish Bethany's channel and discussing it with everyone. The books are kind of complicated and there's a lot going on, so discussing it and having people explain things to each other really made it just a good time. And if you miss one thing, then this other person maybe saw it, and then some of the people were rereading and some of us were reading it for the first time, and that made a really good blend of what stuck out to us. Really enjoyable. Really loved the way that it was written, the way that the reveals happened. The world is a disaster zone, and the people who have earth magic are actually like treated as the worst, as less than human, as tools and not people, and they don't need friends, they don't have feelings. You should be scared of them and you should kill them if you happen to cross them, or they will kill all of you. And that's just not really completely accurate. And so there are a lot of heavy things, heavy content warning for loss of a child. Every book in the series did make me cry, although only like once per book, so that wasn't too bad. And there's no romance, so don't count a romance, but it's really a very interesting book, especially about parenthood and the relationship between mother and daughter, and the cycle of abuse, and how what has happened to you in the world you've grown up in has really formed you, and how you treat others and react to others and train others and deal with everything. And sometimes even when you don't like that, you don't really have full control over it because you are what the world made you. But then also here's where you do have control. You can do better. These were mistakes that you made, even if they were understandable mistakes, and just really brilliantly written. And if you enjoy adult fantasy, I think that you should read this trilogy. Next, I had The Hitman, which is The Family Number 2 by Katrina Jackson. This is a lighter mafia romance. If you are interested in mafia but just don't want a lot of trauma, a lot of darkness, this would be a great series for you to start with. This is the Italian mafia, so actually over in Italy. So you have Americans going on individual trips to Italy and falling in love with different members of this organization. Now, the women so far, they've all been Black women who are related in some way over the United States. I'm not sure if we're going to continue following just blood relations or if there will be any friends or anything like that. But so far, it's all been blood relations in the United States, taking individual trips to Italy, falling for the people in this organization. It's so good. It's funny, it's steamy, it's great. It's really, really good. Okay. This one, we had a celebrity bride run away because her celebrity boyfriend was cheating on her with her best friend, and the paparazzi got it. The main character of this one is the cousin of the first one. The third book is the sister of this one. So good. She's with the hitman. They're in hotel rooms right next to each other. They're very attracted to each other, but then at night she cries and he is just being driven up the wall by this woman who won't stop crying. And every day he goes down to the pool and hits on her, not realizing that they are one and the same. And the steam was so hot. If you're doing hoathon and you need a mutual scene, there is a fire one in this book. Just know that. And then lastly, I have Sing Me to Sleep by R.M. Virtues. This is consensual non-consent with a paralysis demon. So she's experiencing sleep paralysis. She has been having nightmares, night terrors, horrific sleeping patterns since her home was invaded and her father was killed in the next room with her home, and the trauma has just really destroyed her. She's having a terrible time. Her family is very worried for her, and now this new thing, the sleep paralysis, has started, and she's seeing this shadowy figure. And you have consensual non-consent because she's saying no, but he can't actually touch her unless she consents to it. And I know some people have been worried about reading it because of sleep paralysis, but it's not too bad. I feel like the worst part of that would be at the beginning of the book. So if you are able to get through that, you don't really have to worry about it getting worse later on in the book. And this had a lot more plot than I was expecting. You have the demons are going to war with the angels. The angels are the bad guys. The demons are the good guys. And the angels are changing the rules and they're attacking demons. And she's not safe and he's not safe. And how are they going to get their happily ever after? And it was so good, and I really am looking forward to more books coming out in the series. I just really, really loved it. The fact that it's my favorite kink probably played into that, but it was done so well. So well. That's it. Those are my favorite books of November. Let me know your favorite. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.